Okay, so I'm here at Micro Center, a little ways from where I live, and yeah, I bought a new arcade cabinet kit. Um, the wife may not know about this, so we're gonna take it home and get it put together so it can't be taken out. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, stay tuned. We're gonna check this out, and hopefully the wife's gonna be okay with this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show.
Hey!
So the
Did
what?
you buy another arcade cabinet?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Then why is there a receipt up here from Micro Center that says arcade cabinet?
That was for something else.
So you didn't buy another arcade machine?
Sweetie, no, I didn't buy another arcade machine.
Why don't I believe you?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So as you know, the new consoles just got released. And unfortunately, I was not able to pick up either one of them. But I had already set that money aside. So what am I going to spend that money on? Oh yeah, I bought a new arcade cabinet. Well, I should say I bought the kit to put it together. So today I want to go over the new arcade cabinet that I put together myself. It wasn't from scratch like my other one. If you'd watched my original video on the first arcade cabinet that I built, that was 100% from scratch by me. This one was kind of already put together as far as the parts being made. I just had to put all the parts together. So let's take a look at it. I'm going to give you the price on everything, so if you want to do it, you'll know what you're getting into. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. I have bought another arcade cabinet. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why? Why didn't you just come out with a video going over the one you built? And yes. So what happened was, after that video was done and over with, I got some inspiration, renewed, and I wanted to go and smooth out the rough edges of my old arcade machine. And in my adventures on the interwebs, I came across this beauty here. And to be fair, I came across it through watching one of Mad Little Pixel's videos, where he talked about this machine and Micro Center. I had not really heard of Micro Center before, and it turns out that I have a store relatively close. I mean, it was still a little bit of a hike, and they sell these machines, or I should say just the cabinet itself, because we're going to go over exactly what you get with this cabinet. And it's none of the electronics, just to let you know. All you are getting with this machine is the wood and the plexiglass that comes with it. Okay, so let's go step by step. So first you have to put the machine together. And unfortunately, I did take videos of me putting it together, but it was only half of me in the picture and half of me out. I record myself on my phone, on my camera, and evidently I wasn't in the shot for most of the time.
What's going on here?
So you are going to get the Cliff Notes version here. But basically, if you put together anything from IKEA, this thing is straight out of something from IKEA. It uses a lot of the same hardware. It is press board, and it is super easy to put together, but you're going to have to take it slow because the instructions that come along with this thing are horrible. It's not a hard thing to put together, but you don't want to miss something and have to go back because this thing is heavy. If you are putting it together by yourself, take your time because you do not want to have to go back. Okay, so the next thing, let's talk about the buttons and the joystick. So you can buy these kits online for about $40. Now, are they the best thing ever? No, not necessarily, but they're pretty good. Now, I will say the joysticks, I know that eventually I'm going to get different joysticks to put in this thing that are better, but they work fairly decent for right now. The buttons, on the other hand, I have no problem with. The buttons are great, and you can buy this stuff all over eBay. And I'm going to put it up on the screen for you here so you can see. And, you know, there's different variations of it. I didn't get the buttons that light up, but you can get buttons that light up and make it a little bit cooler. So here we see the underside of, you know, the control board here, or the, you know, where all the buttons are. And this may look a little intimidating, but trust me, it is not. So in this kit, along with the buttons and the joysticks, you get the wires, and you get something called a USB encoder, which is awesome. And to wire this thing is so easy, because all you have to do is plug in each pair of wires, because each button's going to take a pair of wires, but they are all wired into this little clip. So you'll have about, I don't know, I think they give you like maybe 16 of them, something like that. And you just take it and you plug the clip into the USB encoder. And then those two wires go to each button, and that's it. And then all the USB encoder does is take the signals from the buttons and the joystick and sends it over USB, and pretty much just makes it into a generic USB controller for a Raspberry Pi to pick up, or a Windows machine. And now we come to the screen, and the screen is really objective on which one you want to get. As long as it's the right size, I don't really think you can go bad here. I didn't want to spend too much on this, so I went with a Hisense TV, which I have in my game room for my larger TV. So I figured it works pretty good with games. I never noticed any extra lag because of it, and I think it was fairly cheap at Walmart. So the audio in this machine is very easy to do. Basically, you have a couple different ways that they suggest doing it. First, they say you can use the speakers that they sell there at Micro Center, which are these 6-inch speakers, and they're basically car speakers, and they run through this little amp. Both of them are not expensive at all. And the second thing you could do is they suggest using computer speakers, which that's the way I went. I took my old computer speakers that were in my other arcade machine and I mounted those instead, and that gives me the nice bass because it comes with a subwoofer, and I would really suggest probably going that way. And now with the marquee, you know, this is pretty much the same as the rest of the machine. It is totally up to you on how you want to approach it. So what I did was I got some L brackets from the hardware store, and with some heavy duty 3M double-sided tape, and put those on there. And then I just cut a piece of wood that would fit right into the marquee and kind of fit snugly so I wouldn't get any bleed through from the light. And then I just went on Amazon and got a normal LED tape light, and those things are a dime a dozen. But I did make sure I got one was Bluetooth so I could, on my phone, turn it on and off. Now, for the artwork, I got in touch with the people at Game Room Solutions, and they were super helpful. Sent me a template to design my own marquee, and when I got done designing it, sent it in to them, and it was only like $24 for that. And it got back to me in like, I want to say like a week, maybe less. And it is very high quality, and this thing is beautiful. They really did a good job, and their customer service is fantastic. And last but not least, we come to the brains of this machine, the Raspberry Pi. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into this because I plan on doing a separate video that's going to explain this a little bit better and a little bit more in depth. But basically, Raspberry Pi or RetroPie There is so many different ways to set this up, and RetroPie is not the only thing you can use. There are other images that people have come up with that work great for arcades. I'm not familiar with any of those. I just know RetroPie. But putting this build together is probably going to be the bulk of what you spend your time on. And that can be because you can go down a rabbit hole with this. You can put video introductions on these, or what they call snaps on there. So when you go down the menu from game to game, it'll have a preview, I should say, of each game, and then you get the box art, and then you got to put the description on there, and it's just a whole rabbit hole of things you can do. But each time you do one of these things, it just makes it better and better. Or you can just dump a whole bunch of backup games on to the Raspberry Pi and just play it like that. Well, there you go. A full-size cabinet kit with very little fuss. Well, maybe a little bit of fuss. Yes, it was a little bit of a chore to put together. True that the instructions that come with it leave a lot to be desired, especially the ones that you find online, but a lot of it, luckily enough, is self-explanatory. Now, I will say this. It's not cheap. The whole process does add up, but if you're looking to get into a full-size cabinet, it's definitely cheaper than buying one that's already put together by a different manufacturer, because you have to pay for all the parts and everything that goes along with it, and then you have to pay to have them ship it out, and that is not cheap. So if you're looking for a full-size cabinet and you know how to put IKEA stuff together, this is definitely going to be within your wheelhouse. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe and like this channel, and take care, and bye-bye.